Well, I think it took a little bit longer than we expected, but it finally happened. Mike Nolan is out as the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. So what's next, and how much will firing Nolan actually fix the defense? I'll tell you that in a second, but first, hit subscribe if you want the latest news and insights into the Dallas Cowboys, and if you're feeling frisky, ring the bell. That way you're always notified when I post a new video. Today's episode brought to you by betonline.ag. betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. Jay Glazer of Fox reporting that the Cowboys have fired Mike Nolan, and certainly seemed like a foregone conclusion that was going to happen after he presided over statistically the worst defense in Cowboys history, at least in terms of points given up. 473 points, the most ever given up by the Dallas Cowboys in a single season. However, a lot of turnovers, especially early on, that led to many of those points that this defense gave up, but there's no doubt about it. That was a bad defense. And there's no doubt about it, Mike Nolan is going to be losing his job. So the question is, where do the Cowboys go from here? However, before we talk about Wade Phillips or any other names that could potentially come in at D coordinator now for the Cowboys into 2021, it's important to note that while schematically speaking, the Cowboys made a mistake, Mike Nolan and Mike McCarthy made a pretty big mistake when they decided to do this hybrid defense, and they said they were going to leverage the best skill set of individual talent to fit them into the scheme, and that doesn't really work on defense because it's about cohesion and unity. It was just a major flub and failure for the Cowboys, and Mike Nolan's obviously paying for it. But they also need a drastic improvement to their personnel on defense. This is not just a scheme issue, okay? It's not just going to be fixed with like you wave a magic wand and suddenly you've got a good defense because you brought in a new coordinator, okay? The Cowboys need to massively upgrade this defense through the draft, and I've been saying it, and I will continue to say it all offseason and in free agency. And that's why signing Dak Prescott to a long-term extension is really important, so you can free up some money to spend some money on a safety in free agency, because the Cowboys need to improve this defense from a personnel standpoint pretty dramatically for this team to be legitimate Super Bowl contenders in 2021. Some of the names that are going to come up here: Wade Phillips, of course, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, longtime defensive coordinator, who has already stated his case on Twitter, talking about switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4 schematically, and how he's done that successfully in multiple places and multiple locations with the same personnel. So Wade Phillips is lobbying for the job, and I'm all for it, but I don't think Mike McCarthy would be in on that, especially because, he used to coach the Dallas Cowboys. And wasn't Wade Phillips fired as head coach after Mike McCarthy's Packers just laid the wood to the Cowboys? Yeah, I think so. Or how about a guy like Antonio Pierce, who, of course, played in the NFL for a long time, is now a rising coordinator at Arizona State under Herm Edwards. Or they could hire from within. George Edwards has run defenses before. Some familiarity there, I suppose. Be interesting to see where the Cowboys go, though, with the coordinator. And McCarthy was able to hire his guy when it came to Nolan. And so how much input will Steven and Jerry want to have into the hiring of the next Cowboys defensive coordinator? The thing about Mike McCarthy is, really, throughout most of his time in Green Bay, Dom Capers was his defensive coordinator. So it's sort of tough to figure out, guys that he's worked with as a DC in the past as a head coach, because, you're not going to hire Dom Capers at this point in time. And then even more interesting than that will be Sean Lee. Does Sean Lee want to continue to play? Because if he doesn't, Sean Lee would make a really, really good linebackers coach today. And maybe even eventually a good defensive coordinator. But if he wants to keep playing, maybe he can continue to find a way to keep playing for the Cowboys coming off the bench or someone else. All right, that's it for now. If you like what you saw, hit subscribe and ring the bell. That way you're always notified when I post a new video.